Right.
And 3, 2, 1.
Going into virtual space.
Make way, make way.
Great.
Breathe. And 3, 2, 1.
Oh. Right, I think we are live.
We are live.
Okay. So, I realized on the live, the title is incorrect. We are focusing on the relationship with the higher power, right? Or are we focusing on the relationship with self? Interesting.
Very interesting. I think they're both very tied together, because without having a relationship with self, how could you have a relationship with the divine? How is it possible? There's nothing is permitted unless you first go within yourself, breathe, find your own divinity, and then connect with the divinity higher above in the plane of heavens, as we call it.
Yeah, it's interesting. So let me ask you, well, first of all, let's introduce ourselves for those who don't know who we are. I am Amalia Natalio with KarmicKindness, and joining me, and we're in this together, is Stefan Dragan with Don't Hold Back One Bit.
Do not hold back one bit.
Oh, do not. So we are going to make it very clear. There's no abbreviation or contractions here.
No.
Yeah.
You gotta be clear.
So, basically we're here to share with you all the divine masculine, the divine feminine interpretations of cards relating to relationships. And so for you, Stefan, did you focus on relationship with self or relationship with divine for today?
Well, to be honest, it's a very, very good question, because as I started earlier, and I found out throughout my journey, as for the past 7 years, I've been really dedicated, including through fasting, doing 20 days of fasting twice, of just water fasting, to connect with my inner divine and with myself, to be able to be as much in tune with the truth of time as possible. So without having a relationship and a connection, a true connection with our own feeling, our own authenticity, there's impossible to connect with the divinity outside of us, which is one, of course. But unless we align with ourselves, we cannot find God. What is God? Innocence, wisdom. But we'll get into that later, because we're going to read the card, and that's going to reveal everything for us.
Well, so I'm still not sure what your answer is. Which one did you focus on for today? It was both.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, because I see what you're saying, I want to just stay here for a second, because I see what you're saying about how they're the same, because there is that divinity within us. There's also this higher power that we're all a part of, is the way I interpret the energy. However, in the human experience, we do perceive ourselves in this cosmic soup. Even though we're not individuals, we are having an individualized internal experience. And so it's the relationship with that individual self experience that that I would deem a relationship with self. For today, though, I was focused on, for whatever reason, a relationship with a higher power, and a relationship with the divine essence of all. And people could refer to that as universe, spirit, God, source, light, whatever resonates with you. So it's interesting. So we're doing a little bit of a hybrid of both. So I guess for anyone that's watching, or anyone that's catching the replay, really you can tune into whatever feels resonant with you right now. So you may watch it now or later, and it may feel like, okay, I'm really connected in with my soul self, the essence of me. And then another time you might watch it and you might really feel like that connection with a higher power and this divine light, or a channel that's guiding you. So it's interesting that we both had different energetic click-in points, but they're all going to be perfect for whomever sees it whenever they see it.
Yes, because they're all leading to the same thing. They're all leading to that divinity and authenticity and authentic truth of who we are and what we are searching for. Because what else are we searching for here and looking for here, apart our divine light? Why do we always hear this, look into the light, or we're always going to find the light at the end of the tunnel? Well, that light at the end of the tunnel is the truth of who we are. And that is God as well. There's no separation there, because God is, I'm going to get into the card later on, but the card speaks the truth about being confident in searching for our light, because in searching for our light and who we are, we will also find God. So I know there's certain differences here of opinion that we all have about God. We all agree to disagree in so many ways, because in a way we are fearful of God because of the religious constraint of what God means to all of us, because it all has different symbolism and different interpretation to us all, but it all leads, what is meant to lead, to the truth of who we are and to our authenticity. So just to make it clear for everyone, we want to make sure that the authenticity of who we are is being revealed, not God as in the guy in the heaven watching over us all, but that energy vibration that is us.
Love it. All right. Do we want to dig into the card that came through for you today?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So I will hold on one second. Let me get my technology sorted here.
Please.
So that we're straight. So Stefan, you're going to be on deck here, and I'm going to share your card with everyone. Okay. So let me just make sure we're streaming properly on YouTube. It looks good, I do believe. Hang on one second. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we are good to go. All right, awesome. So Stefan, take it away.
Yes. So the card that we see now, for everyone acknowledging it, is the work of art that Michelangelo, one of the geniuses in art, in true aligned art, has expressed for us all to remember for forever, really. I see it honestly, personally, as one of the greatest works of art that has ever existed on earth. This is the connection between the human and between divine, between God, between authenticity, between alignment, and between the truth of who we are. So what I see in this picture, and why I've chosen this picture, is because it's the one that is most resembling what we are searching for. We see God here, inside almost the mind. It's a shape of the brain. It's a shape of the mind, meaning that if we are all having that divine connection with our authenticity inside of our mind, and if we are aligning ourselves to be true to ourselves, true to our minds, true to our hearts and our souls, and we work, act, speak one way instead of saying something and doing something else, because that's where the misalignment from divine starts with, when we do something and say something else. Well, this divine is all about, I say I want to be true to myself, I will be true to myself. I say I want to do this, I will do this. And I will adjust, or I will let the flow to come through only when there's a massive shift and change into my life, telling me that I have to do things differently. Now, the divine connection with God here, if you could tell me, please, if you have that picture ready where God's hands, or the divine's hands, about to touch Adam's hands.
I do. So I need to stop share and pull that card up for everyone to see. Right. Close up, coming up.
Perfect. 3, 2, 1. Let's see if it's going on. Okay, so this card, it's all about seeing who or what is trying more to connect with us. Let's see Adam as humans, both females, both males, all over the world. Now, we are trying, but not really trying. We are always expecting and wanting the divine to do everything for us, to bring everything into our lives, to bring even that connection without us really being impatient and opening up to that divine flow and that divine unity and that divine togetherness and that divine innocence and wisdom that God, or the divine, is all about. And instead of really trying and reaching out and opening our hands, opening our hearts, opening our minds to connect with the authenticity and the truth of who we are with God, with the divine, we're doing what? We are trying, but from, I'm not sure about this. I'm a bit tired, or I'm a bit lazy. If you guys could have seen earlier Adam's position, and we can move back onto the picture now, the main one, whenever you can.
1 second.
Thank you for the technical support and for bringing the magic, making the magic happen behind the screen.
Doing my best. Doing my best.
Thank you. You're doing amazing. Doing amazing. Thank you so much. And yes, we see Adam here being very relaxed, very chilled. He's enjoying his environment. He's trying his best to do nothing, to pretty much not take responsibility and saying, if I want to connect with the divine, then I have to open my arm and say, I want to connect with the divine. I take responsibility of my life, and I want to connect with my soul. I want to connect with the light of my soul, with the light of the divine. I want to do that, and I will do whatever it takes to walk that path. No, he's only trying not even halfway. I would say about 30%. So God, or the divine, is expected to do 70% of Adam, of humanity's work. That's why in religion all the time we get this thing. A lot of people start blaming divinity, or start blaming God, or the representation of God, or why are these things, atrocious things, happening in the world, and how is God allowing it? Well, who is God? If we are trying just as much as the divine is trying, then everything will be okay. If we all take responsibility to unite, because we see God here being in this brain-shaped form, we are seeing a child behind him, which is the representation of innocence. We are seeing female near him, supporting him and being supported by him, which is the representation of the female energy. We also see different beings with hair, without hair, naked even at times. What is that? Letting go of shame, letting go of what holds us back, and uniting as one, because God is not just about him. We see divinity here not being just about him. God is about togetherness. You see, even God is being supported by these beings around him, and he's supporting them also in his attempt to reach humanity, in his attempt to reach Adam. So he's working together. God is togetherness. That's what I found out so far. That is so important. God is togetherness. And God is about understanding that we are not alone in this, and we have the support of divinity, of the higher realms, of the higher power, of this force, this infinite force that we are all looking for, the authenticity of who we are. But if we're not trying to work together, to open up to unity, to open up to love, to open up to take responsibility for where we are and do at least half of the way, then we cannot unite with the divine. So we need to open up our heart to each other, to ourselves, and work with innocence, wisdom, because that's the representation of the old age that God seems to have now. He's not old. That's the representation of wisdom. That's the representation of strength, and especially for the male and the female, of course, it is the representation of the maturity that we all need to embody in taking responsibility for where we are. And if we're not feeling complete, then it's because the divine is missing in our life. So to connect without, reach out 100%, not just 30%, and don't expect the outside to do everything for you, but take responsibility for where you are. Thank you. And I'm sorry for taking the time, your time, baby. I wanted to express everything and make sure that I bring everything into conclusion. And I will go forward with this and do maybe another video to really go into depth. But I'm really, really excited to see what you see in this and how do you find it.
Yeah, I could totally see why this would take a little bit of time to go into, to share more about what's happening, because there is a lot going on symbolically, maybe not visually, but symbolically. A video that details more of your thoughts on that, I think would be awesome to post at a later time to dive into the things that you see. So first, a personal note on this is that even though this is a famous work of art, and I don't know what Da Vinci's history is as far as religion or that sort of thing, but for me personally, I'm not super connected to imagery that is religiously affiliated or is connected to God, quote unquote, in the form that we see in a lot of art. I personally, that's my journey, is to uncover the resistance that I have. And I have a sense of what that is from my upbringing, and to feel into that. But what I do know and what I do appreciate so much about this work of art is obviously the history of the artist and the history of the symbology. But also I love what you were saying about the support. When it comes to relationships, what I really love is I don't resonate with the term God, but I do, resonate with the term source. And I do, because I feel like this higher power that exists, that we are a part of, that is part of us, and that we are a part of it, is and I've talked about this before, is androgynous. There's the masculine and the feminine, so that are so imbalanced that they're not separate. It's all blended together. And I feel with this imagery, it's somewhat representative of that, but it shows the individual forms of the different phases of life and the masculine and the feminine aspects. So there's all of those pieces that are represented. And the God portion, and I never noticed it as like a brain sort of image, which I think is really cool, as that was one side, and then human form is on the other side. So, but they're reaching for each other, and it's like, who's reaching for who? I think it could go both ways. And then the other thing too is the pictorial representation of God. You see his hand pointing. And in astrology, there is something called a yod, which is represented by a triangular shape in a natal or in a chart, in an astrological chart, which is the finger of God. And so I find it, and it's represented typically by the pointer finger. So I feel like whether Da Vinci knew this or not, I have a feeling he probably did, just from some of his other works of art, that this wasn't an accident that he would have chosen the finger. So the pointer finger as God's reaching, or the human and the spiritual reaching for each other. As it relates to a relationship with self and a relationship to divine, it's the blend. Again, I feel like what you described earlier, Stefan, of the blending of the two as one is so true, because the two really are only the one. The woman that is kind of underneath the representation of God in the image is, there, and I can't see, let me move what I'm looking at here. So part of the image was distorted on my end because of the window, but it's basically, it looks like he has his arm around her, but he also has his finger again on a child, on another soul, another spirit being. And there is this family connection, this unity connection, this aspect of, and it's not just a child as in somebody else. It could be your child self. It could be that part of you, that playful side of you, that innocent part of you, coming back into connection with that. And then also recognizing that we're here to be in community, to be in partnership, to be, together. We're in this together, and to come together in that way. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more that could be said about this. I mean, and this is more than a card. So obviously, from the artistic perspective, the symbolic perspective, drawing all the pieces together, there's a lot to be said. But I think, it's what you were saying and what I'm saying too, it all comes together, and hopefully it's clear for folks that are watching, and they can glean what they wish from this too, because there's a lot happening here. And I'm excited to share my part as well, because I feel like it ties in a little bit of a different way, but also is connected. So I'm going to stop sharing this and bring it back to the two of us so we can reconnect in before I share my card. And Stefan, you're muted, so don't forget to unmute yourself.
Yes. I'm back.
Yeah.
I want you to have the space without the ambulance in the background going crazy.
Thank you. Well, you know, there is a saying, and I find this to be true too, that whenever we hear sirens, when you're saying something, it's usually a sign of truth. Like you're spot on. But then again, if there's sirens constantly going off, then that's not really necessarily.
I might say a lot of truth.
Yeah.
This side of the ocean.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really, that was cool. That's cool.
I loved it. Thank you for that interpretation, because it really brought another side of what I was seeing. And seeing through your eyes, it does bring the complete painting together. So I'm glad that you did it too, because it brought some realizations to me too. So
yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, there's a lot there. So it's interesting to have the different perspectives, and then also for folks to go back and can pause the video and enlarge it or whatever they need to do to be able to see it. That would be helpful.
yeah, and I will do another video for sure.
Yeah. So all right, let me pull up my card now. So just bear with me for 1 second, and here we go. All right. So hopefully everyone can see this. If it's come up, I think it's, there we go. So I'm using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron-Reid. It's one of my favorite decks. For those of you who have taken my Getting Started with Cards course, this is a deck that I talk about in that course, and it was one of my first decks, and it's one of my favorites. So I find every time I use this deck, it's always super aligned and really, really powerful. The card is upside down because that is how it was presented to me. And the way Colette Baron-Reid interprets a card that's upside down, she calls it a card that's in protection. And I've always loved that interpretation, and I've taken that interpretation through to any deck that I use. Sometimes in tarot, you might hear it as reversed. And when people get the reversed cards or a card in protection, I think in human nature, we prefer things to be a certain way and upright and straight and like this more positive, quote unquote, energy. Reverse cards tend to have a negative connotation. The way Colette Baron-Reid describes it, and the way I also interpret all decks and all cards when they show up upside down, is that it's just a little highlight for you to pay attention to. There's a slightly different energy to the card, but the essence of it is the same. And for those that are watching, it's really just a reminder to have a little bit more of a gentle awareness of what is happening in your life that may relate to the messaging. So I would invite everyone, first of all, to just, as you look at the card, did you pay attention or notice where your eye was drawn? I find it really interesting with Stefan's card and the focus on the hands that we have 2 hands in this card. And, and I will tell you, Stefan and I are not choosing cards based on what the other person has. We have no idea what the cards are until right before we go live. So all of our readings so far have been completely divinely guided, and just, it's the energy connecting in to be supportive of everyone that sees this. So just so you know, we're not manipulating anything. We're not planning it. It's all coming through organically. So with this card, the main essence of this card is timelessness and divine timing. So what does that mean to you, the viewer? What does timelessness mean in a world where time is so valued, and time there, how many times do you hear people say there's not enough hours in the day, there's not enough time, I don't have time, there's so much time? I mean, I know that I do that because I feel like in my life there's so many things that I have to do, and so many things that I want to do, and so many things that I would like to do, and I typically do not find the time. Let me take that back. Let me rewind that, delete that. I historically have not found the time. And now I definitely can find the time, but that requires a little bit of effort on my part to ensure that the things and the experiences that are really connected to my heart and soul are the things that are the things I create the space and time for, because we have plenty of time. We just have to be able to create the space for the things that we really, really are connected to, our heart and soul, to ourself. And then that typically, I will say, when you're really in alignment with yourself, is going to align with a higher power. It's going to line up with what you're here to do and experience. The other aspect of this is, it's almost like, you can see those little pieces that are coming off of the clock. There's the balloon that's holding it up. So there's a lightness around time, and like busting through the barriers of time. And then there's the desert in the background, which actually looks like a desert in the sky in this case, because the card is in protection. The way I interpret that too is that the more we recognize that we have plenty of time, the more that we connect in with what's important to us and how we utilize our time and how we spend our time, because time is currency, then we won't be in a barren desert of nothingness. We will be in this oasis that will reveal itself to us. But we create these barren pockets when we are not aligned with ourselves, when we're not aligned with a higher power that is helping us, that is guiding us towards what we chose to experience in this life. So, when it comes to this card, TikTok, it's recognizing that there is plenty of time, we have enough time, and that really the focus of how we spend it is key. One other thing I'd like to point out also, and we haven't touched on this a lot with the cards, but the number 30 on the bottom, if we reduce that to a single digit of 3, with a numerological system that I work with in my work with soul contracts and the numerology of Moses, 3 is connected to value and worth, your self-worth and expression and wisdom. And so all of those to me are also quite aligned with your relationship to yourself, as well as your relationship to a higher power. So many aspects of this card, in my interpretation of it, really line up with the messaging and with the energy of the intention of the reading today.
That's absolutely amazing. Like everything you've said, I'm not sure if you finished or not.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I was. Thank you.
Beautiful space, and I felt like the exact click to come in. So I enjoyed it so much because you're so right in what you've expressed. What I see also, that this ball, it feels like a ball, even though our reverse is like a hot air balloon that you want to go on a holiday with and enjoy your life and enjoy your time with. Upside down, it's like a ball that is hanging down, together with time being there, right? And what is this ball that is draining us? That's what I see it as. This is the kind of exercise that I do with my clients and the people that I work with. And I see the number 3 here as well, which is absolutely amazing. I would tell you here, what are the 3 things that are holding you, that are holding us back from living in the truth of who we are? Because we have the 2 hands coming down, even though from this perspective is the upside down card, and they come from the desert. We can imagine them coming from the roof, coming from heavens, coming from the divinity, right? Because it can be the desert because we don't know much about it. So these 2 hands are bringing us, let's say, the fears that we are having and that are pulling us back. What are these 3 things that are holding us back from living in our authenticity? What is holding us back from living the life of enjoying a hot air balloon travel whenever we like? What is that is holding us back to live our purposeful, authentic life that gives us joy and excitement every single time? What is that one thing that holds us back, that one experience that holds us back from expressing our truth and standing in our divinity? What does it mean to stand in your divinity? It means to speak your truth and act aligned with that which you feel that is true for you. At times we think, I see also this ball hanging down, the age, all of us, if not immortal already, which I'm not thinking there's anyone on earth yet, reaching that state beyond and transcending death itself, which is what we like to do eventually, and stop living in the karmic wheel. But at the moment, what is it? Is it that you stop by old age, and because you're worried you might end up marrying someone that you don't really want to marry, but you're just doing it because you're fearful that you're getting old or whatever your mind tells you. And because of that fear, you end up in an experience that you wouldn't want to go through. So you don't do it because you are authentic, saying, I want to do this, but you might end up doing experiences out of fear. So what is this ball hanging bone telling us? Stop acting out of fear. Bring clarity in your fear and see what is it that you fear about old age. What is it that you fear about old age that makes you go and get married, that makes you have the experiences that you want to have because you fear you might be dying? Okay, it's okay if you want to have your bucket list right now. That's an absolutely beautiful thing, but not because you will die tomorrow, but because you want to enjoy your authenticity today. Don't do things out of fear because time is running out. Do things because I feel to do them now. We act so many things. This is what I see this card to be truly revealing. We're acting out of fear so many times that we forget what our authenticity is. We forget what our divine connection is. We forget what we truly want to do. Therefore, we act out of fear. Stop knowing the fear through acting out of fear. Know the fear through asking yourself, is this really what I want to do? Is this really the connection that I want in my life? Is this really the experience that I want in my life? Is this really something that I want to do? Or am I doing it because I'm afraid that I don't have enough money? How many times don't we end up in jobs just because we don't have enough money? How many times we don't end up with the wrong friends just because we feel alone? How many times do we end up in the wrong experiences just because we feel something uncomfortable inside? Rather than looking within and searching to connect with that truth, with that divinity, we go out there to make ourselves feel comfortable. And that's okay if you want to connect with God, with the divinity, with the authenticity and the golden self that you are. And there's another thing, to go out there to extinguish the fire and the uncomfortability within and the desert that is calling you, saying, know me. Because once you know thyself, you know the world, you know God, you know divinity, you know your life, you know your mission, you know your life purpose, you know everything you came here to do. But for that, stop acting out of fear. Stop looking at the time. Stop looking ahead. Stop looking at tomorrow, but look at today. Let go of tomorrow. Let go of next week. Let go of next year. And I'm not saying not to have plans. Of course, have plans. But look at today. What is it that I can do today to improve my life? Is this a connection that I want? Yes, then do it. People on the street, you want to connect with them, speak to them. Be more daring in expressing your present moment. You're running out of time? No. You're running out of expressing your truth in the present moment. That is the connection with divinity, with God, with yourself. Say yes to now and express out of time. Whenever you feel to do so, do it. Whenever you want to say something, do it. Because that's the divine. The divine speaks to us only in the present moment. And if we say yes to it, we're going to experience and manifest heaven on earth. But how else we can go through that unless we say yes to now? And I know I'm repeating saying yes to now, but how many times don't we refuse expressing ourselves because we fear that what's going to happen now is going to be something bad? If we feel it, let's do it, because that's the divine alignment we're here to do. And that's heaven on earth, paradise, or our perfect world that we all want to live into together. Because how else can we do this but together? And that's what I see.
Nice.
Yes. I really enjoyed that one. I went all out. I'm sorry because I might have taken more than your time, so I'm going to let you some time extra to enjoy, explore, and bring yourself more into your revelation here, because we need more.
I feel, yeah, I mean, I feel complete with that. I am curious for those who are watching, if any of you want to share your thoughts about either of the cards in the chat, let us know what you see, because, something I say slightly different than we're in this together as we learn from one another. And so Stefan sees what he sees in it, and I see what I see in it. So those who are watching live, if there's something that you see or you saw in either one of the cards. And if you're watching this on the replay too, like leave a comment, let us know what messages you got from that, what epiphanies you had, what, where in your life did you feel a connection to the cards, or something maybe that one of us shared, and share it and know that way, the more what I have found is the more that you express yourself and the more that you share authentically and vulnerably and deeply from within, the more you're able to get the support that you need, align with the people that are there to guide you, to walk beside you, the more you anchor in the energy of what it is that you are here to experience and to learn and to do. And so it's not necessarily about, if there's trials in your life, then do speak to that, but then let's look at solutions. Let's spend more time on how you are looking to transform or transmute that situation into something beautiful with the help of a higher power, with the help of that connection with yourself, and move forward in a way that you're focused less on the trauma or the story or the juice of what's going on, and more on how you'd like to rise above it, move through it, and you have support to do that all around you. Yeah, so I think that sums it up. What do you think, Stefan?
Yeah, I feel the divine is always here with us, as we've seen in the picture of Michelangelo, by the way.
Oh, yes, thank you. I was like, when I was saying Da Vinci, I was like, that doesn't seem right. I'm screwing this up somehow. So yes, Michelangelo, my God. Oh, my art teacher from college would be so upset with me. She would be like, Amalia, seriously.
I'm so sorry, because I wanted to say, but I didn't want to interrupt your flow. I wanted to let you go with it.
Well, I'm glad that you said it now, because you could have interrupted me then, but I appreciate your iteration.
Never. I will never interrupt you. I want us to flow the way we are. Even though we say something that's not right, the truth is that the divinity, the infinite source, as you were calling it as well, is expressing that through all of us. So no matter what names we've been carrying through our history, we've all been coming from the same place. So it's important that we've done it. And that was the whole thing. And of course, divinity is here to allow us to live in our authenticity. And it's up to us to open up to ourselves and to say yes to ourselves in the present moment, because this is where we manifest. Thank you. We're in this together. This is Amalia, no longer Natalia. As I first called her in the beginning, she was like, who's that girl? I'm not that girl. Who are you calling Natalia, Stefan? It was almost like I've been swearing at her or something. It's like, what are you telling me? This is not my name.
I mean, my last name is Natalio, and I'm pretty confident in another lifetime my name was Natalia. So I feel like maybe you were tuning into that frequency for a minute, because I know that you know my name. Like, that was the whole thing. It's like, what are you talking about? Crazy.
I was channeling a previous lifetime probably. It's like, hey, I know you. We've been there together again. We've done this before, but we had no technology back then. So hey, happy days.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much, guys. We're in this together. Do not hold back one bit. You find me on WhatsApp, KarmicKindness. Again, on WhatsApp. No, on WhatsApp you have 07. I'm not sure I want to give that number, not yet. We take responsibility at gmail.com is the email through which you can contact us if you want to receive help with anything. What I have is a challenge to express to you guys. I will solve I will give you the solution rather than solve it, because you have to participate as well. Otherwise, it will be like in the painting of God with Adam. I don't want to do everything for you. So I will give you the solution for any problem in your life in 5 minutes. And if I don't, then everything will be for free. That's the challenge that I reveal through this channel, because I want to do it. I want to test myself. I want to test my skills, and I want to put myself out there. Any problem you have, bring it through an email, and either of us will respond. If you want Amalia's help, I'm sure she will be more than ready to give you her guidance and her ways of helping you resolve that. In under 5 minutes, Amalia, do you agree?
No.
No? Okay, it's just me.
I do not. So that's the thing. It's like we both come to the table with different talents. And so for Stefan, he's got the 5-minute formula over there, and that's what he's working with. And so reach out to the email that he shared to work with him. And then for me, you can, all my information is below, and it's at KarmicKindness on social and KarmicKindness.com for, more information. There's some, if you have questions about my work or anything that I offer, you can set up a short 15-minute interest call, and we can see if we're a good fit for each other. For me, I help folks with putting the pieces together when you have a physical condition that's connected to a metaphysical root cause, in conjunction with medical help. Because sometimes we're not accessing the energetic root. We're only doing the physical part, but we're not doing both parts of the equation that, in my experience, both need to be addressed. So I help folks with that in my Soulful Life program. So we're not looking just at that. We're looking at the whole picture of you through the lens of numerous spiritual sciences. So you're really getting to understand the essence of who you are, what you chose for yourself in this life, putting the pieces together with the patterns that show up in your day-to-day life, the relationships and that you have with yourself, with others, with coworkers, with family, with friends, and unravel and untangle all those little knots, like a big bundle of necklaces that are keeping you in this kind of stuck position. When really it's just loosening yourself up and wiggling yourself out and untangling those knots. And we do that, together, and we do that very gently. And there are times when it may not feel gentle, but it's always for your highest and best good. And, but there's a level of devotion and commitment that is required to get into the work. So, I think Stefan and I offer different things. Like for people, it might be this one thing that they're really stuck on. And then you may have the solution, that 5-minute solution. And for me, I really work with people for that, the deep dive and the digging in and the excavating, and then the coming through. I think of it like a rising. And so just different pathways, different formulas. So
we're in this together, and we have our specific gifts to express our nature and express our authenticity. And I'm glad to be able to express the 5-minute gift that I've felt inspired to express, because it's my formula and the magic formula that I've uncovered so far to work with everything. But of course, just like Adam with a divinity, you also have to reach out equally and make sure you make effort to apply that solution which is brought to the surface. Because without the application, there's going to be the spiritual revealed, but the spiritual needs to be applied, because that's heaven on earth. What's heaven on earth? Health in our body. Basically, health in our body, that's heaven on earth. And in order to bring that, we need openness and readiness to apply everything we feel inspired and we receive as a solution. So
that's it.
May it be done.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for tuning in, whether you're tuning in live or you're catching the replay. It's always the perfect time because there's no real time. And we will see you here again potentially next week. We're working out our schedule. Actually, my scheduling conflicts, but if you, if you click the subscribe and the notify me button, you will be notified whenever we're live, and you can catch us live, which is cool. All right. So I guess we will say ciao for now, and we'll see you when we see you.
Yes. And we are in this together YouTube channel. Subscribe to that too, so we can all have access to all of the rest of the videos and see us for the rest of your lives. I hope. Maybe not that long.
It's your choice. You get to decide how much you want to deal with us. Yeah. So anyways.